Aladoric goes flying in on the Rakan, you group them up, the Seraphine ult comes flying over the top, you have Wukong knocking them up. You do have a very strong wombo, but you don't have to only play that way. There is some in and out potential for them.
Yep, lots of buttons on both sides though. Lots of ultis you can press and try and make it happen. Curious to see also what the pace of this game is going to be like. DFM certainly are a slow team at home. They've been a little bit zippier.
Slow-ish. I don't know how true that is. They still have a very fast game time.
That's true.
I think they were first in like a 28-minute average, at least through the regular season. I could be mistaken.
Definitely speaks to their domination in their own region. They are very good at Japan.
I mean, we talk about Osh, you know, the domination from the Chiefs dropping one game. They only dropped 3 for DFM. They dropped 2 in the regular season, 1 in playoffs. They are always the representatives, the Kami-sama of the LJL, always representing them. I'm sure my weebs in chat are laughing at me.
They love it. They're having a great time. Lots of IAs, I'm sure. We'll check the VOD. We can see how many.
But yeah, they always have an incredible performance. So even if their games are like not as bloody as they sometimes are, they are at least very clean in their wins regionally. Obviously, when you heard the analysts talking about it, in these games where you're not the favorite, sometimes you have to increase the pace of the game, do some crazier stuff. Here, I think they went for a relatively straightforward draft. There's really not that much cheese in here at all, even if, you know, the Rell is not super meta currently. We've seen it a little bit. It still performs that kind of frontline engage / peel option.
A little level 1 action, but no takers, no customers there. Chief just fanning out nice and safely. Aladoric did get himself into the bottom brush. Puts the ward down, hits recall, gets sweeper. All pretty normal stuff there. As Topoon's chilling in the brush.
Topoon will be someone I keep my eye on this game. Also taking the Comet yet again into Evi. But we saw how good Evi did into Wonder and how his Kennen is absolutely no joke. We'll have to see if that happens again with Steel making his way up there. A little bit less facilitated of a jungler this time around. Yes, Hecarim can gank early, but we'll have to see if there's any mispositioning or if Topoon's going to be playing safe on the top side. They have a lot of options of where to go post-6, but pre-6, not the easiest ganks.
Ooh, little redirect there for Aladoric going on to Yutapon.
Some good trades.
Early W there, obviously on Xayah. It's a Rakan only special, but it is powerful.
Ooh, crash down just misses. Gets the heal out of Raes actually to make sure he had enough speed to walk out of that.
Definitely an early little win there for Detonation FocusMe in the 2v2, but nice to see them both getting pretty aggressive. And to your point, curious to see what Seal does, but how also Arthur wants to pair up with Topoon. We heard from the desk, obviously a pairing that's utilized quite often on the Chiefs, even though both teams have versatility on how their junglers can gank and who they want to play through. But I'm expecting decent amount of attention in the top side at some point between these two junglers and top laners.
Yeah, a little bit easier this time around to make plays happen. I always feel like top side on blue, if you want to make ganks happen, being able to have that extra shorter path through the tri-brush makes it much easier. And last time Evi was actually on red side, if I'm not mistaken, against Wonder, and made it maybe a little bit harder to make some of those ganks come through. Here, if Yaharong can maybe get shoved against Tally, you can then make some 3-man roams as well. Harp, no stranger to roaming around the map. You saw him try it quite a bit on the Alistar. Not always successful, but at least has that mind of trying to be proactive.
Yeah, and looks like things have settled down a little bit in the bottom side. A little lead there for Yutapon, so we'll feel good about how the early game is going. Topoon taking damage to the Evi. Aladoric looking for the play, but a lightning fast flash out of Yutapon.
Nice, respectful flash out of Yutapon. Goes 1 for 1 there. You feel pretty good about it, though. If you can find a repeat gank setup, it's a pretty immobile champion. And now with Arthur, you know, seeing his flash up, you can meet that repeat gank prior to 6, hopefully. You can land that W again.
See what happens. Steel, though, now covering. 2 wards going to spot him, though. Steel, yep, suspects that wards. Does find them with his own sweeper. Should be able to take both of these down. Oh, actually doesn't find the other one. Just the one there.
No, and so you can kind of see this attention to bot lane. The Chiefs themselves have said that they don't really consider themselves as playing to bot, but that Aladoric and Raes win a lot of lanes, and then you go there to exploit it. And I can understand that, where if you feel like, hey, we're getting a lot of flashes out, we have these advantages, maybe we can go make some plays here. They've done a good job of being very aggressive so far, and so Arthur is still hovering in that brush. And maybe they just don't want to admit their strategy of playing the bot lane.
Here's Harp. Aladoric going to start it off. Steals the in reserve. Level 4 as well. But here's Arthur. Sneaks into the brush. Gonna surprise Harp. He does flash out of the way, but here comes Steel to try and counterpunch here in bottom side. Damage is good. Raes taking quite a bit, but Arthur still frontlining there with the rest of the team. Great pull through there with the feathers, but no kills here in bottom lane.
Yeah, nice exhaust there by Aladoric. Get that out before the devastating charge damage comes through. make sure that no one gets so low that they can't go in. Whoa,
Yeah.
still going for it, man. They are scrapping.
Yeah, just poking away. Aladoric very safe with W and E up there with Xayah back behind at a respectable distance, so don't mind the attempt, but certainly reaching to try and make something happen here.
Okay, so small advantage right now for Chiefs bot lane. First up, the flash slipping up on Raes gives them some extra safety should there be some scrappiness continue, but also the heal. The fact that they forced it out so early, funnily enough, means that it'll be coming back up before the enemy team, so maybe you can actually use that to accelerate Arthur in again, get a speed up to get on top of Yutapon before his flash comes back up. There's been so much scrapping down this bot side. I wonder if they're just going to keep having bot lane fiesta parties.
We'll see. Yutapon feeling pretty good about the CS, actually up more than 10 right now. We'll see how many Raes can catch under that turret, but there has been a lot of action there as Raes going to scoop these up and go home. Can, of course, go back and head back with Aladoric. Doesn't want to, though. Doesn't utilize that little special interaction. Instead, wants to stay for the incoming wave and get a little bit more gold.
Yep, greeding out a little bit, but not so bad. Trying to hit some probably noon quiver spike. We'll see. Right around 1,000 gold. So yeah, trying to get a little bit more before heading back, as they will be behind on the reset. But desync reset means that you have time for Aladoric to run mid. You can already see the question mark pings by DFM almost directly on top of his head. That's always some good map awareness when you know what the enemy team is thinking. They're saying, okay, they're doing a desync recall. That means obviously the Rakan will be somewhere on the map, and they had the timing window perfect.
Nicely done there. As on CS leads, Evi also opening up pretty nicely. It's been cut down quite a bit. Topoon actually TP'd back. Evi's holding on to his teleport. But about a wave right now. Topoon should be able to equalize, but Evi feeling very good in this
I
matchup.
love the decision to hold that TP there. We're talking about how scrappy this is in the bot side. We're talking about a slight summoner advantage now for them. This gives you the opportunity to use your TP defensively and cover any plays. If they want to actually try and punish this by the Chiefs, you have this Kennen who can come flying in the back. We'll see if they go for a deep lane ward as well. If the Chiefs end up pushing up, then maybe they just go for their own aggressive play on the side of DFM. Having that on Evi, keeping that TP means at 6, they'll have so many more playmaking opportunities.
See how it shuffles out there, even with the leash on the teleport. Definitely Evi can still use that tool, and of course, if nothing happens, just go ahead, get some tempo back, and go to the lane. Is now 3v3 once again is happening in the bottom side of the rift, but it's Arthur. A little late to the party, but perhaps it's perfectly timed arrival. Arthur finds himself first blood as Harp, looking for a big crash down, gets Arthur as Yutapon finds the final auto attack to get the counter kill.
All right, they get the first one. Raes is trying to make it a 2-for-1, not able to do so. Fought back, but Tally's on the roam.
How's the snipe, Tally? Looking for the ulti, encore. Aladoric now cutting off Yutapon. Brute's gonna miss. Yutapon is just fighting, and Raes is like, I'm not really that safe. Now we've got to flash out of there. Tally gets the charm in the front side, but now the stun on the other is good, and Yaharong is gonna move in there. Great little flash, Emperor's Divide, and Aladoric and the rest of the side are all dead. It's DetonatioN FocusMe winning in bottom lane.
Yutapon with the fancy feet, baiting Chiefs in, not giving Tally an opportunity to find either the stun, or excuse me, the root or the charm on his ultimate. Topoon as well was scrapping with Evi in the top side. You can see both ultimates down. Off screen, he was making sure that teleport could not come in. Topoon did exactly what he needed to make sure that that was able. Evi could not join in, but at the same time, the roam by Yaharong evened it out. Now Steel's up top.
Oh, into the alcove we flash. He's buying time for Arthur. He's here. He's on the level 5, though. Topoon still trying to fight his way out, but Steel's just going to go ahead and grab yet another kill.
Oh, man. I loved what Topoon did to stop the teleport from coming through, but Yaharong getting in there late in the bottom side of the play, turned that one around. Then Steel getting the faster reset meant that he could get back up to the top side first. So here we'll take another look. Nice double knockup as he's getting hit by that charge to root up Steel and get that first kill in their favor, but then took a little bit too much damage. Nice 3-man knockup there, getting that stun, then the double stun right there. Harp playing that extremely well, and it does put him a little far forward. It's difficult to run through Yutapon, and just Yutapon with lethal tempo here, just playing it so well, dodging out on that knockup, dodging up on those roots. No charm coming through either there, and that means that everything is expended. Yaharong has the freest flash ult of his life. This is the feels good Azir. You get to feel like a god when realistically almost everyone's dead and there's no cooldowns up. it's a layup. The rest of the team like cleared the lane for you. You know, that was a very easy play for him, but at least he made the roam down and made it happen.
Yeah, I mean, good roam from Tally, honestly, to try and make it happen. That is indicative of his style. Unfortunately, just Yutapon kind of outplaying him.
Yeah.
With the fan speed, as you said, and what could have been a really good opening up, building on the first blood that Arthur was able to get, is actually a tragedy. It's 3,000 gold ahead for DetonatioN FocusMe, and we're not even at 10 minutes.
Yeah, absolute disaster there. With Steel dying first in that entire sequence, that's what I was talking about when we said he also got to get up onto the map faster, and so you know, Topoon was hitting Evi to stop the TP from coming through. They trade their ults, and I think they just kind of lost track of Steel. We talk about how, you know, DFM was pinging down on Aladoric where he could potentially be. Did not feel like Chiefs had the same awareness of where Steel could be.
And that will be Yutapon with a big lead, 3-0-1. He's likely the majority of the gold lead that Detonation FocusMe are sitting on. We'll see how they want to translate the rest of that here. Arthur now finally level 6 after what feels like an eternity of him poking down in different lanes. There's DFM. Oh, little trade awards there.
This is a tri-lane, man.
Yeah, seriously.
The junglers are always here.
Arthur just through the front door, perhaps. Trying to line up the play.
Now, all summoners available for DFM's bot lane again, though they kind of weathered that very dangerous portion now. And if you're trying to get this kind of flash Aladoric engage, he does have charm, but we saw Unipon's mechanics there. Nothing to turn your nose up at.
Blue buff Steel here should be completed as well. Aptly done so by the jungler named Steel. And Arthur was maybe trying to defend for a potential wraparound dive, but DetonatioN FocusMe, do the simple play, take the objective, walk away.
Yep, Harp looking really good on this Rell pick. Core JJ couldn't make it despite his appearance in the World's music video, but his champion did. Here's Rell, baby.
The play Magnet Storm popping up. Big stun there as Arthur's here, but I don't think he can do much at all. It's Raes holding onto the ulti, but the health bar not so lucky.
Sorry. I got so excited when I was like, hey, it's perfect timing as I'm talking about Rell going in, and then able to just get disengaged there by Chiefs, but still eating a lot of resources on the side of Chiefs, just kind of forcing, like we said, this tri-lane situation. The nice thing about it is it's buying 1v1 time for Evi and Yaharong, who have champions who are going to do better in those isolated situations. You can see a gold and CS lead already for both solo lanes, as well as bot lane being monstrously ahead from winning these skirmishes.
And now a late Cloud Dragon, but a welcome one nonetheless for DetonatioN FocusMe. We'll swap on over to Mountain for the second one here, but again, a few games we've seen, teams aren't necessarily running straight to Dragon right away. See a lot more plays and just a lot of fighting in a lot of these games. It is more interesting to these teams.
Well, what happened in the last game too is you saw Isers come flying out with this crazy whirlwind of plays, and then once they fell behind, they kind of let off the gas and ultimately got outscaled. I'm hoping Chiefs can kind of keep this pace up. I understand waiting for a moment, but you probably still need to make a big contest here happen with this wombo that we were talking about, where they have so much CC that if they're able to land it on Yaharong and Yutapon, then you can instantly blow them up and maybe win the fight. Doesn't have to be specifically the next Rift Herald or Dragon. You can wait a little bit longer because you are down on power spikes. You know, Yutapon has his Kraken Slayer completed already. We see still Raes working on his.
Yeah, Luden's done as well for Yaharong, so DetonatioN FocusMe's carry is very powerful. Evi also almost has that call cashed in, so has a little bit of extra money incoming as well. Let's see if teams do want to play for that Herald in a mo, but Steel still has the first one. Gonna pop it mid here perhaps, as Yaharong does have the wave in the good spot. Plates are running out in under 2 minutes, and Steel's gonna go ahead and cash in while he can.
Alrighty, gonna get some more gold onto the Azir. I like it. Kai'Sa's far enough ahead at this point. Let's go funnel someone else instead, getting that gold onto Yaharong. Nice to see there. Also, if you can break mid-turret, Seraphine will be very sad. Not a champion who loves having to get pushed in like that, buy space for Yaharong to get around the map, and kind of rotate this pressure down the bot side here. And again,
the tri-lane
continues.
All right, Aladoric, there's the ulti. Oh, Yutapon, man, he's so fast. And now the counter ulti's coming through for both Steel. Onslaught of Shadows pushes out the back. Arthur spinning out there, trying to get to safety, does do so, but a ton of cooldowns burnt to get away from that situation.
Yeah, not able to find a kill from anyone, but again, surviving that kind of aggression. Aladoric's engage, a little telegraphed by Harp. The fact that the ultimate was popped by Aladoric, Yutapon knew it was coming for him. He does flash it, but Aladoric did not commit his own flash, so both AD carries, the only ones kind of losing sums out there. Minus the exhaust that Aladoric also used.
Yaharong continuing to pepper away this mid outer as well. Tally's going to have to take it back. Does have Spellbook, although can't swap right now because he has Ignite. Does have Teleport as the base spell. Doesn't have anything to Ignite. So going to be A-OK walking back. At least going to have to be Evi with a little defensive ulti. Topoon landing all of the Qs, and Evi does have to flash there. Bottom side, oh goodness, that was close. But Steel does not find the duo. They do get back safely, but Yutapon's just gonna keep on chugging, fam. He's taking more plates.
Yeah, if you're DFM, you're not too upset about that one. Sure, the recalls got off, but you're gonna grab at least 2 turret plates, maybe all of them. Topoon, the lone bright spot right now in this game for Chiefs, it feels like, able to get that favorable trade. Maybe could have predicted the flash on the Q3 and tried to flash for flash follow, but instead just takes that summoner advantage. Knocking that off, Kennen can be big. Whoa, Arthur ahead of the rest of his team.
Did you end up in this spot? Perhaps we'll answer that question at a later date. Hops away, needs to find some teammates. Aladoric with a good double knocker. Maybe they turn it back around. It's Chiefs with a long con. Arthur sets it up for the squad, and they find a kill.
Yeah, they're still going. Aladoric's ult comes back up.
Ooh, again, Aladoric moving back through. They found Evi as well. Raes now with a kill in Chiefs. Signs of life in this game.
Perfect timing, too. Right as second Rift Herald spawns, I believe that was. They were already swapping their bot lane up to the top side off that recall. They were kind of ignoring Yutapon, grabbing that turret. And so that's why Arthur was ahead of his team. He was a little too far ahead, I thought. But with the fact that Aladoric had that gap close, still had that flash available, landed that charm, which set up that wombo that we were kind of talking about, where Tally then gets the charm follow-up as well. Only problem is, took a lot of resources to make that play happen. DFM grabbed 2 turrets, mid and bot for it.
Yeah, Tally moved back to clear the wave in mid, and Yaharong had the perfect amount of minions, basically, to take that second tower. But again, Arthur just taking the enemy blue off is like, uh-oh, now I'm a little too far forward. And the Chiefs say, don't worry, buddy, we got you.
Yeah, a little too far forward, but ultimately knew that he had backup coming. Almost goes down here, but here's some of that utility that this team has. So many shields, so many heals from Rakan and Seraphine. Long range engage as well. They get that gap closed down. Harp just doesn't quite burn down, but they are, of course, communicating, hey, no flash on Evi. Go finish him off, and that's when you see the second commit by Aladoric there.
Got the Herald as well. Lads look happy.
Yeah, feeling good about that one. It was feeling like the game was slipping away from them, getting strangled out by DFM. That's some signs of life that they needed. Still quite a bit down, and now Topoon in trouble.
Certainly so. Evi with the ulti steal following up, and Topoon's going to try and get something back. There is nothing but a kill for Hecarim.
Sad Aatrox noises. No Eclipse completed yet. When you get that item, it is a pretty disgusting power spike with the shields that come in, the extra healing, with the Omni Vamp. But before you get the Omni Vamp, it's not really that much extra from just a Vamp Scepter, unfortunately.
Looks like Herald dropped here. I like this from Chiefs again, trying to get some gold back here. Still down very significantly in this game, but this is the right path to getting things back on track and trading some gold back in your favor. Chiefs certainly down in the game, but not out by any stretch, even though old Yutapon is looking menacing still on the Kai'Sa with 2 items done, and the Dragon still going in DFM's direction as Steel takes the second off the board. And once again, Mark, it's the Hex Tech Rip.
Oh my god, this game is bugged.
It is scripted.
It's bugged, man. This was another play for Chiefs that comes at a bit of an opportunity cost. Obviously, Topoon dying. Now they might get them greeting out in their jungle a little bit, but Steel's going to be able to get out of here. Went for the Chemchunk Chain Sword. First rush. This was another build that was somewhat criticized. It does have, in Masters Plus, roughly the same-ish win rate as a bunch of the Mythics. Obviously, Triforce is the highest at 54. The rest are, a lot of them are hovering around 52%. There's plenty of damage on this team. I can kind of see the idea you're slightly more utility. We'll see what he goes for second item, because a lot of the times after this, people have been going straight into full tank, and that's where a lot of the criticism come from. The fact that the new identity with Hecarim, with the resist from his W, with the extra ramping on his Q, that he's more of a bruiser, and he does have some okay scaling now on that Q. I mean, he's always had good scaling, what am I saying? But it's something where when you don't invest in the AD portion of his kit, it does feel like you've left a little bit on the table.
Yeah, for sure. And it is Barmy Cinder next, so we'll see.
Fulls on build. Coming in big.
Tally here on the top side of the Rift, vibing. Yaharong going to catch the wave as the map's opening up a little bit more. Chiefs know they've made some good moves, but DetonatioN FocusMe still firmly in the driver's seat right now.
Slowing the game down a little bit. The Dragon stacking is one of the nice things working in DFM's favor. We haven't had too many games where it felt like teams are going to be forced to walk forward here, but it's not the fastest Drake in the world, but it'd still be a free 30-minute soul, meaning that at some point Chiefs will be on the clock to actually stop this stacking from going through. Scaling is an interesting one here. Anytime you see Azir, Kai'Sa, Hecarim, you're like, that team scales pretty good. But obviously that kind of combination, the synergies within Chiefs kit make them a scary death ball composition. The increased healing that's available, that's kind of why that the Chempunk Chainsword looks really good. The fact that they put 2 CH sounds back to back at the start, alliteratively, but then also use different phonetics for them is the trollest thing I've ever seen from casters. It's so funny that I just have to intentionally lean into it. Just saying Chainpunk, Chainpunk. Just keep messing with it.
I like it. It's a good time. As, again, teams maneuvering back and forth, but looks like we are just going to be waiting until the next objective. That Hextech Drake coming up in 2 minutes and 20 seconds. As I say that, Steel is looking for a little invade.
Uh-oh.
Yutapon's here as well. He's a problem. After, though, counterplay is happening. Not enough, though, as Yutapon is getting low, but they need to get this kill to make it worth it. Yutapon trying to dance around, but he's going to get shut down instead by Arthur.
All right, quick reaction by Chiefs there. They find the pick-off trade. Yudapon's shutdown is pretty big, given that Topoon was already 0-2. Prior to that, that feels pretty good. Of course, it did cost them more resources, buying time for Yaharong to continue growing his CS lead, up 30 now over Tally.
Cost you Reese's, I like that. How many peanut butter cups did that play cost?
Yeah, I mean, this is the double threat. Here we go.
Tally zooming on in, but not really by his own design. It is trouble as Tally flashes out, but that's a solo bolo for Yaharong in the top lane.
Oh boy, there you see Tally moving up there to try and collect that wave, but Yaharong was still up there, finds that kill, and even cost him the flash going for that. Yaharong did not need to commit his own, so feels pretty bad with this Drake coming up in just under a minute and a half. Will not be up for that. You have to wonder if this means that Chiefs will sack this one. At some point, they'll need to contest. Maybe it's not the third Drake. Maybe they're waiting for the fourth, because now without the flash available, it does mean that he is pretty exposed to a kind of flash engage by Harp or Steel, getting sped up in there. Yaharong himself, Evi as well. Everyone else having their flash engage, very dangerous for Tally.
Certainly so. And Seraphine, a big part of how Chiefs could maybe win some of these upcoming exchanges. Have to fight, unfortunately, for this third dragon. I feel like that's the general advice. Chiefs don't really want to. They'd love to wait a little bit longer, but not going to get much better, even though they're down more than 5,000 gold right now. And if things align, there are windows back into this game. But Detonation FocusMe have been pretty disciplined so far. Ooh.
Yeah. That's, what is that? 400, 500 damage from one Q auto from Yaharong. Feels very dicey. Not much MR stacked up on their team as well, other than a couple Merc Treads, means that he will be hitting very hard. Went for the very high burst build as well. Ludens into Shadow Flame, trying to just explode people.
I mean, plenty of the target-rich environment, let's say.
Very short-range team for him to be going up to as well. So you can kind of understand, as they face-check them, having a lot of vision control, Yaharong can land a lot of high-damage poke onto Arthur, Topoon. Even Tally and Aladoric are going to be in threat range.
We gotta go. Say the Chiefs, they know they have to contest for this dragon, but Evi is like already pre-flanked. He's just in the bottom lane for the potential pincer. So Chiefs, will they maybe turn off the objective instead? Aladoric is trying to find the play, but Evi already crushing him in. Harp goes in first. Raes trying to get out of there. Oh, he flashes back into the stun. Aladoric not there to try and peel, and it's absolute disaster for the Chiefs as Arthur does get the dragon, but the cost is quite high as Aladoric will go down as well.
Oh boy, it's a 4-for-0 at the tail end of this play as they... Well, Arthur gets one back, at least onto Yaharong. So a 4-for-1, excuse me. DFM, though, still plenty healthy now to rotate up to the top side, grab this Baron away. Incredible flank by Evi, but very telegraphed. I was surprised to see Chiefs sticking on that dragon, not sending anyone to mark the Kennen, just giving him free access to the backline. And Harp was like, I'm going to go flying in here, force your ult out from Raes, which would give Evi the easiest kill of his life.
Yeah, I said it. He pre-saved the flank and bottom lane. And unfortunately, Chiefs can't find the response. Instead, it's 4 dead plus the Baron. Arthur dying at the tail end of this play, making that nice and easy.
I don't know exactly what Chiefs were thinking here, because they saw Evi on the wave as well as having some wards out to know that, yep, he's coming from behind to try and flank us. And they just had Aladoric on the side looking for their own flank. Maybe they were thinking that we'll be the ones to pull the trigger first, and then we'll just kite forward, and Evi will be behind us the entire time. But there's plenty of engage options on the side of DFM. They find their own angle, like we said, with Harp going in. Looking very good now. Gold lead creeping closer to 10K.
Yeah, it was a pretty significant lead. In the early game, we set it 3K under 10 minutes to kick things off. Obviously, going from bad to worse. Detonation FocusMe doing a great job snowballing things forward. Kind of won the early game exchanges. Now winning some of these fights and in a commanding position to overtake this game. Chiefs, again, there are angles, but the windows are very, very small.
Yeah, very good setup here by DFM as well, getting vision control in this bot side of the map, dropping the Azir turret in the mid lane position, allowing them to rotate down, grab this turret, which Yutapon and Evi were pushing already, having complete control. They're going to grab the mid inner as well, quickly grabbing turrets with this Red Bull Baron power play.
See what happens. About 500 gold away from that vaunted 10K mark. saw the other. Nice to see the other coaching staff as well. Reserved, but celebrating on the Detonation FocusMe side. Not the drama of Babip and Timothy Wendell, the people on the Chiefs. Timmy especially, my goodness, he is a dramatic human being. Also, fun fact, he was the former founder, owner of Legacy, you may recognize from recent, actually, I think they went to Worlds in the last few years. Famously hates the Chiefs, because they were the rivals for a long, long time in the Oceanic scene. But
if you can't beat them, join them, I guess, something like that. Here we go, DFM grabbing their inner turret as well. I think part of the reason that stoic look that they still had was not only just this game on their mind, but I think DFM having those tastes of success at Worlds, making it through play-ins before. They want more.
Ooh, that's a very nice looking ulti. Raes has found a shutdown. Yutapon from 4 screens away has been picked off. The Chiefs find a miracle, honestly, outside their own base. But is there anything more? Arthur getting chased down by the rest of Detonation FocusMe. Evi is dodging everything, but Arthur has found an escape route through the enemy top laner.
Oh, no.
Still not going to go down as well. Get the coach cam back on. It's going to be a banger as the Chiefs find a team fight.
They shut down the most fed member of DSM with that snipe from Tally. Like you said, blow him up once Yutapon is down. Evi was also getting chunked down the backside of the fight by Topoon. Gave them that angle, and then that also baited Steel to try and save Evi's life. On the tail end of that, they're also going to get some objective bounty shutdowns on this turret if they can grab it. See if they finish this one off, or Yaharong gets the TP out of Tally. That's a traded TP. It's not feeling too bad, though, because you still get this objective bounty.
I mean, you have to get some gold back. Chiefs needed something in the game, and they've cut the gold lead down to only 7,000. Still a far cry away.
I was ramping up the narrative machine, and that let me fall asleep at the wheel. Did not see this coming. So much good vision control on the side of DFM. I think Yutapon just assumed everything had been cleared out. You can see the 2 pinks behind that, but the sweeper had not come through. That ward spotted him, and then the really, really good engage by Chiefs, dropping everything they had, knowing this is the Fed guy, don't hold any ults back, blow him up, and then from there they can actually win the extended fight, because they do have such strong, sustained healing and re-engages and team fighting. They're less ult dependent in some sense, you could even argue, than a Kennen and a Rell and these sorts of things. Obviously, just with the Seraphine W spam and whatnot.
All right, well, Chiefs find a little way back in. 30 seconds till the next dragon is up. Again, it is much like Fight Club. If it's your first time around the dragon and your opponent's about to hit 3, you must fight around the Drake. Although Chiefs, I'm not sure can get there this time, because the waves are not in prime position to be contesting for objectives, and Detonation FocusMe going to try and push them back as far as they can.
You have to contest this. I feel like even if
yeah,
it is
of course
pretty
you
brutal,
do.
It's a horrible, dragon soul to have to fight against for DFM. The earlier you can stop this stacking, the better. There they go.
In we go again, trying to find the fight early this time. The least want to force the TP out of Evi if they can. He's currently top lane, applying even more pressure. That mid-outer, a thorn in the sides of the Chiefs for this contest, but as we've said, they have to come to play, and they certainly will, as Harp maybe a little too far forward, but should be just fine. Squad's reinforcing. He's going to wrap around. Tally finds the ward. Little split right now for Detonation FocusMe, but they should be okay.
Yeah, Evi's going to have a TP ward potentially behind them. You can see it getting pinged out a little bit, not swept out by Chiefs. Right in between the pits. There he goes.
Marking him now as well. They're going to flip it for the dragon first off. They do get it. Objective bounty goes over, but Chiefs have actually peeled off to try and kill Evi. Raes down the front line, but he's got no ulti. Has a flash shot, but Arthur's trying to run interference. Raes wants to pull back on the other way, but now I think the team, no, he's actually fine. They're taking out Steel. Raes lives somehow, but it's going absolutely insane in this fight, and Yutapon shutting it down with the rest of the side. It looked good. But Detonation FocusMe coming out on top in that fight.
Yutapon and Yaharong coming up big. The 2 carries of DFM surviving that. The fight was so split. Chiefs committed so many resources onto Evi. I thought it was a mistake, but they were still able to kite it out. Their 3-man core against the 4-man of DFM was looking good until Yaharong finally saw the angle to go in. Yutapon staying alive as well. And with that, they were able to grab the dragon for Chiefs. The kills ended up being relatively closely traded out. Not that bad, all things considered, from Chiefs, and showing that they still have a high barrier of execution for DFM if they want to win this. There's that trade onto Evi. They forced that out very early on, and that made me think that, okay, 4v3 on this side, it's doomed, but Tally hits a really nice ult there. There's a nice knock-up. Arthur also finds the re-engage. They finish off Steel, but then when they come to that choke point, Topoon gets that kill there, but then this is when Yaharong sees the angle, shoves multiple members back, gets the Q auto damage, even goes for the aggressive E to just blow them up with that high damage build.
Little burst Azir action there.
Yes, sir.
No sweeping ulti, just pushes them back, takes the damage it does, and comes out on top. The gold lead, though, hasn't shifted much from the last fight the Chiefs won. Still about 7k between the two teams, keeping the Dragons barely under control. Arthur's smites pretty clutch in these situations, but now we have to contend for Baron once again.
I mean, despite the gold lead, these fights have felt really crazy. Here they go, trying to get Topoon, get the ult out early from him. Bit dicey now for the Chiefs without having that ability for the Aatrox. We'll see how they're going to test the Baron.
Ooh, a little engage there from Harp, trying to make it happen. Raes trying to get to safety. Onslaught of Shadows is there, though. Arthur spinning around, but it's just a clone. Aladoric, though, very low as Evi tries to finish it off, and he does find the snipe with the Shuriken. Topoon now in trouble as well, as Yaharong's going to clean that up. And Yutapon going straight into the back line. 1v1 me, bro. Takes out Raes, and Detonation FocusMe have found it again. That might be the game.
Evi going for the last one on to Tally. The auto fight goes in Evi's favor. It's the clean 5-0 ace in DFM. They are looking to end the game. Forget the Baron. They have the minion wave to try and push it down. Just as I was saying, it felt like this game was getting close. They have an expert team fight to close them out and get their first win of Worlds.
Beautifully done by the carries of Detonation FocusMe. Yaharong and Yutapon looking so good together, as the Chiefs will barely have Aladoric alive to watch the Nexus crumble. Raz was wrong. Detonation FocusMe picking up a win. Their first of Worlds so far.
DFM is scaling. They had what was a pretty terrible first game by their own standards, getting blown out by Loud. Then a very scrappy game against Fnatic, and now finally on the board, taking down Chiefs. DFM ramping up so far over the course of groups from play-in stage. We'll see if they can make the knockout. Not guaranteed quite yet, but looking very good here. Despite some of those late game team fights starting to go with the Wombo combo, it was still a game where they had a massive gold lead the entire time.
You can see how different that game would have been if the gold lead wasn't quite so massive.
Yeah, it was a scary draft from the side of Chiefs. Respect to them for finding some angles despite the game looking like it was over during that Baron push, getting that second Dragon. But once DFM kind of recentered themselves, set up that Baron situation, they were able to force out ultimate so early and then enable that chase down.